What's up, everyone? Gonna talk some more right now about everyone's favorite potato head who's currently occupying the White House. Mumbling, bumbling, stumbling, stuttering Potato Joe. Now, this moron gets out in front of a mic, and if he goes off script, he always fucks the shit up. What am I talking about? Seems like every time this clown is uh asked a spontaneous question and he decides to answer it, or when he's given a speech and he goes off script, he says something, and then sometimes it's within a matter of minutes, it seems like, if not the next day or just a few hours later, somebody at the White House, whether it's Miss Psaki or one of these other diversity hires he's got as his member of his cabinet or somebody over there, always walks it back, right? Or he's just straight out contradicting shit that everyone else or himself said, you know, days, weeks, months up to when he contradicts himself. Like the other day, he said that shit about uh, sanctions aren't to deter, and then he gets all bent out of shape and telling the reporter, "Oh, you're trying to play a game with me," and blah blah blah. And the sanctions don't deter; they never meant to deter. And then you got, you know, news media that ain't in the tank for the Democrats will show you clip after clip after clip of, you know, everyone from the so-called VP to Miss Sucky to one of these other clowns over there, like Mr. Sullivan or Mr. Blinken or whatever. Scene after scene of them telling you how the sanctions are to deter Russia from invading Ukraine. Obviously, Potato Joe has got to go. You know, he's up there the other day in Poland talking to some of the U.S. troops, and he's telling them, oh, when you're in Ukraine, you're going to find out this, that, and the other thing about how great the Ukraine people are. Well, that's kind of breaking news, right? U.S. troops in Ukraine? Of course, that got walked back right after. Oh, it was a slip, a gaff, whatever. Like when he said it, people were like, what does he know that he's not sharing intentionally? And I figured he fucked up, right? Like he always does. And then the other time he's up there at the podium and reporter asked him, what's the US gonna do if Russia uses a chemical weapon? And he said, we will respond in kind. Well, respond in kind means that we would use chemical weapon. Does this idiot not know what the phrase in kind means? It means you respond in kind with the same kind of attack, which would be a chemical attack. And then they cut back, within hours or the next day. The U.S. will never use chemical weapons, blah, blah, blah. There's the other thing that clown always says. What was it he was saying? He was saying over and over again, ill-begotten gains. He's conflating two phrases. Begotten, right? Like the Lord gave his only begotten son. That's referring to his progeny, offspring. What Joe was meaning to say is ill-gotten gains, right? So, going after Russia's ill-gotten gains, but he keeps saying ill-begotten gains. I mean, the guy's president of the U.S. and his freaking use of the English language leaves much to be desired. I don't know what he's got to go. I'm hoping if the Republicans do take over the Senate and the House in the fall, first thing on the agenda is to impeach both of these clowns in the White House. Oh, and then you got the other thing that they had to walk back. Is he giving that speech in Poland again? And he's talking about I forget what his exact words were, but basically, Putin's got to go. So obviously, if Putin's got to go, this guy cannot be in power. Putin cannot be in power. Something to those effect of that. I'm mumbling and stumbling. I'm almost as bad as Potato Joe, but I ain't the goddamn president, allegedly, right? Anyway, so he said basically Putin's got to go. Well, that means regime change. Of course, the White House walks that back and saying that, we're not talking about regime change, and then that jackass Blinken gets up there and he says, Putin could not be empowered, right? So Potato Joe says Putin can't be in power, and Blinken tries to pull the wool over all our eyes and say Putin cannot be empowered to continue the war in Ukraine. All freaking Potato Head had to do is get up there and say, Putin, end this war now. But you got to make you wonder if this guy gets up there and every time he talks about the damn situation, whatever he says has got to be clarified by somebody at the White House. And they say, well, we want to clarify. Or they always say, oh, the president's clear. Well, he's never clear. But they get up there and they say let us be clear. What Joe Biden meant to say was the exact opposite of what he actually said. So obviously, it makes you realize that Joe Biden probably has nothing to do with these policy decisions. Joe Biden, as we all know, is a puppet, a figurehead. Democrats, picked him as their candidate and then did their fuckery, to install this guy because he's a yes man. All he ever wanted was the fucking title, and his bitch of a wife wanted to be first lady. And whoever's making the policy, it ain't fucking anybody with the last name of Biden, It's whoever's making these decisions, or otherwise they wouldn't have to come out every time this guy says something and get up there and say, well, what he meant was the exact opposite of what he actually fucking said. Anyways, this is one of the videos, couple of videos I'm going to be putting up. I wanted to get out earlier, over the weekend and shit, but due to circumstances beyond my control, I wasn't able to get these out. So I'm getting these out a little bit late. My apologies. But that's going to do it for this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.